Hello everybody, my apologies for the delay. I have to eat, unfortunately. Life would be much simpler if I did not. So it took me a little bit longer to get the stream out, but today we are playing Silmarillion Total War. We're going to be doing a 5 versus 3 siege battle on the Doors of Angband, which is a community-made map made by Captain Rex. He's actually going to be joining us for this game. Although I don't know whose team he's on. Not mine. He's going to be on the attacking team. I'm sure he knows all the secret passages in. Let's take a look here. Let's see who we're fighting against. A little bit of everything. There's pretty well nothing that we can't bring as Angband that's not going to have a place against at least one of these factions. Cavalry we don't need to worry about, because we're going to be inside of some battlements, not true walls in the sense of them being able to be attacked by siege weapons and so forth. But yeah, we do have some cover, so we don't really need to worry too much about cavalry. Their mobility is fairly limited. That being said, maybe bring one. Wouldn't be the end of the world. I don't know. Let's see how much money we have left. Definitely want to bring some Iron Shot Halberdiers. So two of our 4 factions here, actually Doriath to a lesser extent as well, are reasonably well armored. So I'm going to bring 3 units here of the Guardians of the Iron Crown. These are Macemen. You can't really tell all that well. Yeah, we may have to redo those unit cards. I think they need to be made a little bit more distinct. But these guys are Macemen. Ravagers will probably be worth our time as a second line. Definitely want to bring along some Arbalists. And detachment as well. Bring ourselves an Ururoki. Damn, we have a lot of money. Valraukar. Mangonel. What else? We could go for like a full support kind of build and bring another crossbow unit. We get a lot of value out of that in a siege. We're certainly going to need things that can do damage but don't have to necessarily expose themselves to damage in return. So range units will be particularly nice for that. Rid of the detachment then. $540. What can I do with that? I can get 1 unit of reavers. Or I could not. Do that instead. Well, spread out the extra damage over our entire army, so we're more likely to get use out of it that way. Spearmen will be nice. These will be useful for stopping mass pushes, or if they try to like muscle through with cavalry. The wretches can be particularly cost effective against cavalry in that kind of situation, especially when the cavalry can't escape. So that's not a terrible idea. Adjusting my microphone a little bit. Hopefully that's a little bit clearer. You don't get so much clickiness. I have a very clicky keyboard, I've been told. Hi, Anikos. How's it going, buddy? So our team is on the defense. It's a 3v5, and it's looking like 2 Angband and 1 Easterling army. 15 remaining here. I won't be able to spend that. That's okay. That's a decent army. One it's possible to get a lot of value with, especially if you take a look at the enemy army here. So thankfully there's no green elves, so we don't have to worry about rangers on the offensive. Most of these factions are going to need to pile in, and that's going to give opportunities for an immense amount of damage to our crossbowmen and to our artillery piece as well. So I'm happy to... Oh, they're waiting for me. Of course they were. I'm always the slowest one. Things to load. Pop down the stream in a few different places. for everybody to load in. So far, looking at the performance so far, it seems to be pretty good. Oh no, it's gonna tank a little bit. That's okay. It's a really big game. We got 7 people in here, huge armies, to be expected. Oh, my goodness gracious. So we're naturally going to want to deploy back in here inside of the settlement. So this is actually a fan-made map, for those of you that missed that. It's called the Doors of Angband, and I loved it so much that we had to include it in the mod. It's going to use a lot of the custom orcish assets. You can see a lot of them on display here. And you will be able to place all of these individually in order to make maps in Silmarillion Total War. That's something that we have worked pretty hard on, is bringing new assets to our battle editor. So you have orc assets, and you have elven assets, and there will soon be some Manish or Edine assets as well that you can play around with. I think we're going to put this straight up here if we can pull it off. No, I guess not. No, we'll have to just put it back in here. That's fine. So our army consists primarily some really nasty armor-piercing troops. Let's take these guys in here if I can. Okay, well, let's just worry about getting everybody inside the settlement walls first. So I've got 3 units here of these high-tier macemen. Get a look at them there. Called the Guardians of the Iron Crown. Their stats are decent enough. A good attack value. Actually, with the attack upgrade, you get 2 points of damage instead of just the 1, so they actually have 10 armor piercing damage, which is nice. Move these guys back in here. Wherever they seem to want to go. And figure out the rest of this a little bit later. I also have some halberds as well. Many of the elven factions that we're playing against are Noldor, or have some element of Noldor in their armies, which are generally quite well armored, so the armor piercing will go a long way. To that end, I've also brought 3 units of arbalists, crossbowmen, naturally armor piercing, and ravagers as well, which are 2-handed axemen, armor piercing. So basically everything that I have, aside from the bulldogs and the wretches here, is armor piercing. It's pretty scary. It's going to be a lot for the elves to go through, but they do actually outnumber us in this fight, so that's something different. Not always a good thing when you're outnumbered as the orcs. You generally want it to be the other way around, but in this case, we do have a few necessary tools, I think, to make up for that. Maybe I can put my artillery piece up here. I might be able to get up on the walls. That would be very, very scary indeed. If we face it forward, they won't really be able to shoot freely into the front of it with arrows and so forth, because the engines do actually block the majority of that fire. And the crew itself is, well, they're covered in dirt right now. We do have weather effects in this mod, but they're reasonably well armored as well. They're basically a unit of crossbowmen. The crossbowmen that we have here, the arbalists, without any crossbows. Whatchamacallits. Bulldogs and the Balrogs and the Uterloki. We're going to put all in here if you guys want to see them. Get nice and close. So So they're covered in dust right now, so they're a little bit muddier than they would otherwise be. So you can't really see all the detail too much. These are the bulldogs here. We'll have some custom voice files. Similarly, mud-covered dragon. Let's see him right here. We actually take this from Botet. This is something that we did personally, but the mesh and the animations and all that stuff does come from Botet. And over here, we have the original Balrogs from 3rd Age Total War. Look damn fine. Pretty sure we got everybody. Let's take a look at chat here. Really nailed your first name. You know, it was an educated guess, Nikos. I did a little bit of Russian in school, and the alphabet is not terribly dissimilar from the Greek alphabet, so I took a guess, and it happened to pay off. Thank you, Annie Leonhardt. I will do my best. And Michael Vaughn and Giancarlo. Welcome, welcome, my friends. So we're going to go ahead and get started there. So we're going to be playing with the Easterlings. Fittingly, we have a lot of troops from Ulfang, the traitorous forces of the Easterlings. They are by far more numerous than the Boar Easterlings, who tend to wear the golden armor. But they are not nearly as well armored or elite or powerful. In fact, this unit here is one of the only shielded units that Ulfang has. And I think they're the Ravagers of Himring. So we have a Boar unit here. These are the Salamandrine Guard. A little bit dirty. I don't have any shadows, unfortunately, but you know that's necessary for multiplayer performance. But they're very, very good. They're kind of a multi-tool in a lot of ways. They are armor-piercing in close quarters. They have a special projectile that affects morale. There's not very many of them, and they are very, very expensive, however. So losing them does hurt. Here we have the Sons of Ulfang, the most well-armored unit in the Ulfang roster, and quite fittingly the bodyguard of Ulfang and his sons themselves. They're armor-piercing, which is more than can be said for most Falcuses. Most Falcuses are not armor-piercing. Over here we got Clan Guard, we got Halberdiers. These are the Boar units, so you're going to see them with that golden armor, and they've got the like leopard skin. They're very, very exotic looking. They're almost like Rajput soldiers rather than like Easterlings from the Third Age, although you can definitely see some keynote kind of references there in their armor. Same can be said of these guys. These are the Warband of Lothland, I think, something like that. They're like a mid-tier spear. Got more of them over here. Yeah, these are all units that I think we just saw. And then right here, what do we have? Ah, yes, we have Boar. So this is very much the Easterling bodyguard I think many of you are used to. They kind of epitomize Boar in a lot of ways. Heavy armor, heavy shields, not very many of them. They are multiple HP, and I think they just kind of look neat with those little, God, what are the things that come off the back? Is it Sashimonos? I think that's the word for it. Looks like we have more of the bodyguard. No, that's just the same bodyguard unit. And we have some lightly armored horsemen. These are the Ulfang equivalent. They are very lightly armored, but their arrows tend to do more damage, but they don't have any of the other cool things that the Salamandrine Guard have going on for them. And here we have Macemen, we got Udoloki, Balrogs. We've got some two-handed axemen here with their armor upgrades. What else? Some halberds. Angband armies are pretty bog standard. They have a lot of mid-tier options, so you tend to see the same stuff over and over. Some more Macemen here. They have Bulldogs. They have Udoloki. So altogether, it's a pretty scary army. Hop back on over to my side. We're going to need to be quick on the draw here once things kind of open up. We need to get our artillery up on the walls. What does he have up here? He has some more Clan Guard or something like that. There's scimitar units. What elven factions? Did anyone see? It is the House Feanor, the Philothrim, the House of Finarfin, and Doriath. So those four factions are going to be trying to take the doors of Angband today. It's almost a Nirnayath Arnothiad-esque sort of spectacle, although it's not, and you will be seeing the Nirnayath Arnothiad in a few different forms. One, it will be in our trailer. Two, I will be making a visual documentary on the Nirnayath Arnothiad, and you'll see that when the House of Fingolfin becomes available in the next few weeks, and we have some stuff to show and to test. Let's see what we got here. Oh no, Commander Travis! Actually the map creator. I hope he doesn't crash on his own map. That'd be unfortunate. Finrod here, playing as House of Feanor. These look like Thargelion Stalkers. They're a lower tier unit. They're armor piercing, which is more than can be said for most one-handed axeman units. They tend to focus a little bit more just around raw damage than armor piercing. These guys are an exception. He's also got Mounted Company of Amrod or Amras. I can't remember which one it is. I think I'd know. I did make all the names. Defenders of Aglon here without their armor upgrade. Otorn Mightymo, the bodyguard of Maedhros himself. We have the... Oh God, what are they called? The Accursed of Alqualande. This is actually a regiment of renown. You can think of them as a regiment of renown. In Silmarillion, we call them legendary companies. And they're a special warriors or defenders of Aglon unit. Just gotta try and get our artillery up here first. They're just a special defenders of Aglon unit that cannot be stunned. They are also very expensive, and they focus more on their armor than their melee defense, so they are more weak to armor piercing, which, hey, good thing, because I brought a lot of that today. Let's see what else we got. He's got some upgraded defenders of Aglon, so you kind of get to see the whole spectrum of the two-handed units from the Sons of Feanor. See them on display right there. He's got lots of the footmen of Amras, I think. I don't know, I keep messing the Amras and Amrod units up because they kind of share the same models. But yeah, they're present here today. That's a line infantry unit. Also got some Edain from the House of Beor. And these are the shield bearers of Hellborn. We've got some Rangers of Hellborn here. These are an armor-piercing javelin unit. We do make distinctions between armor-piercing and non-armor-piercing javelin units, usually according to unit role. So skirmishers, dedicated skirmish units, will have armor-piercing projectiles, whereas swordsmen, who are also good infantry, will just have a regular non-armor-piercing projectile. It helps kind of bridge the gap between the close quarters prowess of the dedicated infantry unit and the primarily ranged focus of skirmishers. We've got some more of those melee cav / jab cav units here. I need to be a little bit quick here. Send some guardians over this way, maybe. Let's see where all my wrenches are. Send them this way. Definitely got halberds that I can send over here. Let's do that. Put them here, just kind of on the other end of the cliff, so that they're not easily able to be sniped out by jabbies. Also put some halberdiers in there as well. Now the other ones located centrally. These guys are getting up there just fine so far, and we'll be able to rain down death and destruction. And then we'll take a look at some of the army comps once we're a little bit more settled. Also need to be aware of what's going on up here. So I will send. These guys are going there. Okay, so I'll send these guys up here. I'm gonna try and block this off because they will eventually try to assault it. I'd rather them use ammunition on wretches of Angband than on something that I actually care about, as the name kind of suggests. They're the lowest of the low in the Angband infantry hierarchy. So if I lose them, that's not really a huge deal. Not too sure to do with what I want to do with my skirmishers just yet, so I'm going to put some of them here on a rampart, so at least they're in position. These guys will just hold them in reserve. Those are our two-handed axemen. It's going to be an interesting fight. Are there any House of Haleth units? It's entirely possible that there will be in the campaign, but currently we don't have any of the House of Haleth units. We have the House of Beor, the House of, I think it's House of Huor? Or it's the House of Hador, that's it. Yeah, it's the House of Hador, the golden-haired Edain. And they'll be fighting with the House of Ingolfin. House of Beor, as I already mentioned, are with the House of Feanor. But the Haladin, currently they're not in the mod, but it's possible that you will see them as area of recruitment mercenaries on the campaign map. I think that's very likely. Okay, we need to move quickly here and try to layer up our defense. Bait out some shots with the Iron Shot Arbalist here. We're going to put it in loose formation, spread them out as much as we can to eliminate any enemy accuracy, essentially. It'll make them harder to kill, and with their heavy armor, they'll make them very resilient indeed. These guys, I don't know where I want them to be. What are these guys doing? Put them up here. Maybe that's not a terrible place for them. Let's see what we're going after. Wretches of Angband in the center there. Okay. Can be cognizant of that. We've got plenty of troops here. Try to move them a little bit so they're not openly in enemy arcs of fire. We can move them back. These guys can move back just a tad. Allies are doing fine. Just looking a little bit dirty. They just ran an Iron Man or something. Surprised you didn't have any Spear Guard for the Iron Crown for inspiration passive buff, but I'm guessing you're going to have the Bulldogs and or the Balrogs nearby to keep them from breaking. Yeah, and it's not actually as important in sieges. I mean, it's still important, but there's less of a chance of me being like outflanked here, so the morale penalties for like enemy play is not going to be quite so severe. So it's not necessarily for me to need the inspiration buff, but I also do have the Balrogs as well. Bearing in mind the Balrogs do give a passive plus 10 morale to nearby units, so they will help keep things in the fight for a very long time. So I've got 2 really strong morale buffing units here. Didn't really think I needed the Spear Guard. I went instead with Wretches because they're cheaper, and it let me bring an extra unit of the Guardians of the Iron Crown, which was important. Such ideal meat shields. Yep, that's exactly their purpose. I think we've got Ranges of Hellborn here. That's kind of what I was expecting. And like having the Halberdiers in here is a good way to ensure that people will try to focus down with units like the Rangers of Hellborn because they're such a good counter to Halberdiers generally. But with the kind of meat shield in the way and the way that we've put them here, they're gonna have to come like all the way up here to try and get direct shots on us. And if they do throw direct shots, then they're going to impact the cliff here. And if they do arc shots, then they're just not gonna hit us frequently. So it doesn't matter anyway. But yeah, it looks good. We're nice and layered. We're reasonably organized. We got down the Stalkers, Shield Bearers. Might be able to do a little quick sneaky thing here. A little sneaky attack with the crossbowmen. Let's go for the Accursed. I think we can probably get some shots off from here with the artillery. So let's go for it. If it's not too much trouble, Jordan, could you give an occasional press of the highlight units button when things heat up? Yes, I always do that. I am always popping this button because I like to know where things are. Helps you read the battlefield. I think it's absolutely imperative that you use that button as much as you can. Ooh, there's an opportunity here. Get the harvest up there properly. Ravagers of Himring, got Clan Guard. I think there's some Halberdiers in there too. I could be wrong. That'd be a really good place to have Halberdiers. Well, it's looking like just a sword infantry, so we might not need help right away. Well, you guys can stop what you're doing. Let's go after the Stalkers there. See if we can get hit. Maybe we can. They were actually surprisingly good. The Stalkers, the reason that they have armor piercing is that early on in the development process, we realized that the Sons of Feanor got absolutely flattened by Angband. And so one of the biggest strengths of Angband is their armor. So we did add armor piercing to this unit just so they had this kind of low tier option for helping to be cost effective against the Angband armies, which is a good thing. Honestly, the Feanor units and the Elven units generally are really expensive, so it's important that they have that. Got someone. Decent shot there. Yeah, we're reaping some. We're reaping a pretty significant toll there from these units, actually. So we'll go ahead and let them go for another volley or so. There we go. Get those defenders of Agalon. That's perfect. Go after the cavalry or something. Oof. Yeah. What do we have there? Axeman with the girdle. To be expected. We took some casualties there, but yeah. It's okay. It is what it is. It's not the end of the world just yet. And we have plenty of reserves as well, including a reserve unit of halberds. Actually, no, they're kind of okay where they are. Let's do that. Let's take a look at chat here. I don't think there's going to be too much happening for a little bit yet. I've seen a battle model for Balrogs with the wings folded somewhere. I mean, if you find it and it's quality and there are animations and stuff that are associated with it, they're like that the model itself is properly rigged and I can implement it well, then I'm happy to add things in. A lot of our models are... Let's get them off there. You did good work, guys, but I don't want you to use... Oh, they actually use more ammo than what I intended. This happens when you don't pay attention and you stream instead of doing what you're supposed to do. Come on, boys, get out of there. But yeah, so I'm totally willing to update models and things like that if you find resources that you think we would really like, and we can use them freely. A lot of the stuff that I've made personally for Silmarillion is like a combination of stuff that already exists. So I did that basically so we'd have something to play with and to test, and we can always update them later if we find stuff that's better. So yeah, no, I'm totally cool with that. If you can find it, send it over to me. Oh no, I lost a few of them. That's okay. It's alright. Put these guys right here, so they're in a position that if we want to get up there, we opportunistic. We still can. Oh, sneaky. Sneaky X-Men of the Girdle. These guys forward. Maybe I can get a few shots at some of these raiders and stuff. I don't know. Try to get them back down here. There's still a lot of ammunition left on this thing. It'd be a shame if we lost it. What do we got here? Marksmen. Marksmen of Region are not exactly a really good skirmish unit. Their ammunition is quite limited. Their damage is okay for skirmishers. It's like high tier elven damage, but it's not amazing as skirmishers. They're really a good disruption tool. So if you look here, some of my guys are gonna get tossed around like this. They don't necessarily die when this happens, but it is very disruptive, and that's kind of the big point of this unit, is to be disruptive. You can actually use it to, if you focus fire two of them. Oh, look at that! That's beautiful. It's okay. I'll get my crew out of there. We'll save them for later. I think we'll be able to come back and get this back. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, so they're really strong as a disruption tool. I'm not sure I would use them in this fashion. I don't even think I would bring them to a siege, to be honest. It's another juicy bomb. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Oh yeah, that's glorious. So the wretches are holding the line. Maybe necessary to move guardians to the upper. Isn't it full numbers? If by full numbers you mean 4v4, not quite. We have a 5v3. So similar kind of situation to what you were playing earlier. Oh, that's beautiful. We can really make them pay here. These guys are okay. These are also okay there. Let's continue to let these guys fire. Go. X-Men of the Girdle are coming in first. That's totally fine. They're not gonna get through this. There's no chance. Unless they're like coming this close because they want to throw things. In which case. Let's see if they pull anything out. I think they still have ammunition. Yeah, they do. Soften them up there with a nice little volley. Have the wretches chase them out. There we go. That one little detachment's gonna do a lot of damage there. So what I'm going to do here, because I see that they're coming in with all those axemen, I'm going to move this unit just slightly forward like this, so that it's still covering our halberds here, but they're going to take the brunt of the throwing axes, which is kind of what they're here to do. And then we can just continue to poke away at them with our crossbows as well. Okay, that'll be enough. I think that's fine. What do we got over here? Defenders of Aglon. I wonder if we could get a nice little pot shot at them if we move these guys over this direction. Yeah, so these wretches are going to take a lot of damage. That's kind of okay. But you notice that this halberd unit doesn't take damage, which is exactly what we wanted to do. Yeah, so they're out there. They're going to absorb most of that. most of the casualties. If you look at the difference between these two units, it really is a very effective strategy. Yeah, a few halberds will die, but it's like less than 4. Whereas we're paying for that mostly with wretches, which is good. They have less ammo than I have wretches, so that's an okay exchange. Might as well go forward here. See if we can bait out some of that ammunition. Rangers at the girdle. I want to take shots at these guys. That's okay. We'll let them continue to do that, and we'll just kind of spread them out a little bit. I got lots of crossbows. That's no big deal. These guys just a little bit farther forward. Maybe we can get a shot at those defenders. We'll see. Will the Gondolin houses have 1 unit each? Yes, they will. The base Gondolin faction will have every Gondolin house represented, with the exception of the House of the Mole. The House of the Mole may be added as mercenaries for later, but my rationale is that the only time that the House of the Mole is actually recorded as having fought with the Gondolindrum is when they were traitors, and they fought against Gondolin. So currently the House of the Mole are not planned, but every other Gondolin house is planned, and they will all be highly specialized. That's kind of going to be Gondolin's thing. We can clap back a little bit, these guys. They will have a lot of specialist units, and those specialist units will have specific bonuses that kind of like make their special. Ooh. Pull them on footmen of Amaras. I want these guys to come right here. Let's sit right here. Go. But yeah, so they will have like specializations that increase their cost, for example, because they are, you know, very highly specialized and they're very good at what they do, but they do cost more. So the Gondolin armies will be pretty expensive, but yes, the long and short of it, the answer to your question is yes. That's the long and short of it, basically. The girdle, that's totally cool. We'll shoot some. So they have only 11 different units, plus detachments. Except, oh no, actually they'll have 12, because the House of the Golden Flower will have 2 units. One of them is a Lancer, the other one is like a bodyguard tier unit. Very, very small unit with 3 hit points is kind of what I have them planned to be. But they'll be like 20 men strong. You can't stun them or anything like that, so despite their small unit numbers, they can be very scary. There we go. Pull those footmen of Amaras out position a little bit. But yeah, so they'll have 12 overall. I forgot to mention that the House of the Golden Flower will have 2. One's bodyguard unit, the other one is just a regular old Lancer. Yep. Nope, I can't get them. That's fine. Guys back this way. Or mass pushing away. Probably should have done this a little bit faster, but you know. I was busy gabbing. It's important. Your questions are important. These guys are still taking damage. You see? It's ineffective. These guys are still at 171, which is where we left them at earlier. So they can thin out those wretches all they want. I'm totally cool with that. Arbalists are here, because I got a feeling that they'll be useful in that area. These guys are still pew-pewing. Marksman here. Let's shoot them. It's a big opportunity to shoot them. Let's do it. Now that our macemen have arrived on scene, these guys will handle it. There's warriors of Reikion in there too. Oh, that's scary, eh? 2-handed axemen from Doria. They hurt real bad. real good depending on what side of the field you're on. There go some routing shield bearers. Marksman. Maybe I should actually get a volley off on them. Let's see. Ooh, that's gonna hurt. It's a broadside and a half. It's nasty. Nasty indeed. Didn't actually do that much damage though. That's okay. These guys are not out of ammunition, so we'll just let them sit there and soak that up. It's how you gotta play. Just think of Angband as being a lot like the Skaven in a lot of ways. There's a lot of expendable units, and you're looking for economic trades. Basically, you're playing a game of economy. Oh, spin right on the stream. I should really stop voicing my plans. Thank you very much, XY. I appreciate that. There's going to be some more designs coming out for Gondolin very soon, as some of the old stuff that was posted when the mod debuted in, I think, February, something like that. That sounds about right. Is actually going to be redone. So some of the things that you've... Oh, shit. That's not what I want. I got you, boys. But yeah, so some of the stuff that debuted in February will be redone. So you can expect the House of the Harp, the House of the Fountain, the House of the Hammer of Wrath, I know is currently being worked on, as you will see that sooner than the others. But all of those houses that you've seen already, those will be reworked. Skyly is the person who did all of that for us, and he has not stopped improving for the last like 8 or 9 months or whatever it's been, and he's amazing. So a lot of the Easterling work, the Ulfang units, the black armored guys, that's the work of Skyly, and you're just going to see it get better and better. The House of the Tower of the Snow, I think, is going to get some different stuff too. I think he did them as well. So yeah, you're going to see a lot coming down the pipe for Gondolin in the near future. Look at these wretches, man. They've just been ruled out. Amazing. They're not doing bad either. I mean, there's also some units here, so that's useful. Okay, we'll let some of these guys get caught up here. We are kind of slowly dealing casualties to them. 20%. So we're there about 6% ahead of us, but that's okay. I've lost a lot of wretches and things like that, so this is kind of to be expected. Oop, no, it's not how we want. See, this is why we had our arbalists over here. Look at all this. There's some juicy targets here. I think, did I see? I did see Kuthalim. I thought I put it there. Yes, I did. Let's go shoot it. Shift Balrogs over there. And I wonder how cheeky I can see who will be here. We'll see. We'll see. Oh wow, we've really bottled them up here with that mangonel. That's funny. I didn't even mean, I honestly didn't mean to do that. I lost track of my mangonel, and I think it was chasing something or just trying to get a better angle, and I ended up walking in here. And we've like created this kind of choke point. So I guess if you want to be like real cheeky, and you don't care what people think of you, this is something you could do, but I definitely didn't mean to in this case. They can stay. They can stay. The wretches, we'll let them fall away first. Tire them out before we throw our troops in. Right up there if you would. Uh-oh. What's bad over here? Well, it's not so bad. House of an Orphan. They're pretty ugly. Up here, this is not looking so great. Although the Philothrum do seem to be struggling to get through this breach, and this has been a massacre from both sides. So it's hard to tell. This, I think, is where a lot of the kills have come from. But like, look at that. We've really evened it out here. Like big time, big time. Go. Let's pew the Kuthalim. Get after those warriors there too. If I was a Doriath player, I wouldn't want someone to shoot my warriors, so I'm gonna shoot them. I think maybe Feanor's gonna be feeling some of the pressure here, as they haven't really managed to make much headway. So I think we're gonna see a mass push in the center here, and that does seem to be the case. So Bulldogs go here. And they're gonna help shut that down. And we'll reinforce that with the second line of halberdiers. And make them pay for every inch of ground with blood. As we do. Got a bead on those Kuthalim. Warriors of Region taking reasonably heavy casualties here. They're going to probably move towards the wall, as that's the most convenient place for them to run to. Or they run away in the other direction. That will give us a little bit of extra time to shoot them, which I'm okay with. I'm sorry, guys. I know that's not what you want, but I'm going to do it anyway. We'll let them tire themselves out, you know, throwing their bodies against a line of wretches, and then we'll let the halberds and the bulldogs and stuff take over. Ooh, this might be a win. This is a really tough battle for the attackers. To be fair, this is not an easy place for them to attack. I think the Philothrum are maybe running out of steam. Yeah, they're attacking basically everywhere all at once. This might be a bit of a blowout battle. I'm not sure though. Center. Oops. How are things going? A lot of Philothrum here in the center. Marines of Eglares. Those are spearmen. Having difficulties fighting the Easterlings. And the Easterlings might overextend a little bit here. Stuartdale does need to be careful. Oh, is there Mangonel? I still have a Mangonel crew. I don't think I'm going to get my Mangonel back, though. I don't think that ship has sailed for sure. We'll have these guys attack them, too. Might as well. This could stretch our defense pretty thin, because technically I'm defending 3 choke points at once, which is obviously not good. Let's try and really push hard. Let's try and deal with that if we can. So I'm going to let the crossbows do their thing. I think Marauders here are trying to use their throwing axes, but it's not easy. Throwing axes are not something that you can do very indirect fire with. It's just, it doesn't work. Not with them, anyway. Wow, Halberdiers are really taking a beating. I think they might be needed over here. So we're going to let these guys use a lot of their ammunition. These guys can run this direction. Oops. We'll meet them with a line of armor-piercing infantry. I think that's the play here. Let's see what we can do. These crossbows. Yeah, they're starting to come under fire now from the Rangers. That's to be expected. Oh, Balaraukar. Let's get one more volley off. One more. I'm going to be greedy. Nope, I don't think I'm going to have the chance. Okay, pull these guys back. Guys will definitely smash their way through the Axemen here and help plug this hole. The Ravagers will be useful for that as well. And meanwhile, put some pressure on these Rangers. Did I tell you guys to run? Pretty sure I did. Okay, guess I'm pressing that button 3 times. Oops, there we go. Okay, so we stopped them there. I think we might... No, it's still pretty even. They've managed to pull ahead a little bit. Okay, so these guys are breaking. This is kind of where the crisis zone is. far so good. We've got this plugged up. Even if we lose our whole army here, I think that we will have bled them enough that, well, yeah, I don't know. If we lose our whole army here, it's gonna suck. I will say that. No matter what happens, this is gonna be a ugly fight. These guys have gotten out of there, I think. So now we should be able to come around and focus them. I think our Balrogs are mostly off to the side. I'll try and do that. I don't think they've noticed my Urodoki. I don't think we're gonna get the use out of them up there that I wanted to anyway, so it's fine. So get the Balrogs kind of out of the way. I'll give our crossbows here a chance to do some work. So positioning, coordination, all that stuff, really important in Medieval 2, but also very important in Total War. Even the way that our stats break down, melee defense being very positional but very powerful and able to counter things like armor piercing. It's one of the highest stats in the game for sure. Armor is lower, shield is lower, melee defense is the big stat. And that is defeated in a lot of ways by positional or ranged attacks and things like that. So attacks on the flank, attacks from behind, attacks with missiles, all help thwart this really powerful stat. Balrog's starting to die off a little bit. Doriath is making some serious headway. What are the percentages here so far? Yeah, they're still slightly ahead. I think that the Philothrum will batter their way through here, though. I think that that's an inevitability. And therefore, help is going to be needed. That includes these lets here. They're particularly good against the Philothrum, so we'll send them out that way. Pull our Balrogs out of there. Try and preserve them if we can. Okay, we might be able to blunt this assault. We'll see. It's hard to say. It's hard to say, but things are locked down there enough that we can actually start to move things around. Oh, look at that! Some devastating blows there into the we might break it down here. Let's see what they have left. Feanor still has a decent amount of troops left. And they have cavalry and things like that, and so if they manage to affect breakthroughs, that's where things could get really ugly for us. And Doriath still has numbers too. Like Doriath has a lot of like mid-tier units. Got some sword host here. Will help against the sword host. Yeah, this ain't over. And then we've got those warriors going back. Do I have any ammunition left? No, I don't. These guys don't. Just to count trash reserves. I don't know if we're gonna get to the center line in time. What we're gonna do, we're gonna spread our units out like so. Oops. Oops. I screwed that up, didn't I? We're gonna spread these units out like so. Send these guys right here. We can kind of see what we'd be going for. That would just be a pure attrition fight that maybe we come out on top. Yeah, this is a really tough place to attack. Ooh, still a decent amount of Finarfin units there, though. We'll see, it's still pretty even. 45, 42. Ooh. Those aren't bad odds. See if they run into a bit of a wall here, because fighting, they might not have the troops necessary to go toe-to-toe with the halberdiers, because the halberdiers do have, of course, increased range over regular hand and those regular units that aren't other forms. So I don't see any of the Philothrum two-handed spearmen here, which can do very well against the halberdiers. So this might actually be, I don't know, it's hard to say. If Philothrum are really pushing hard here, They have some good units in there as well. Of course, so it's hard to say. Valoralkar here, coming to change or turn the tide. That's the word I'm looking for. These guys are probably out of ammunition by now. Nope, they are not. Well, I don't want to... We don't necessarily need to keep shooting them with crossbows for now. It's a little bit unsporting. I would like this to maybe progress past the choke points and make a cooler replay that way. So we're going to go in there and just use our halberds instead. Let's see what we've got. Like, the numbers are there, for sure. The Doriath guys have the numbers, and they have the quality. So, we'll see. I don't think Feanor is going to make any headway here, though. This is a hard fight, for sure. Salamander Guard looking like they want to mount a charge. Oh, that's dangerous. There's a lot of Philosopher's Fury units here. Although, if they're scattered like this, we'll pick off survivors. Yeah, he did roll, or stragglers, rather. He did roll over some isolated Philosopher units there. Arankiolim. Ah, I love the Arankiolim. Looks sexy. Can't quite see it because they're so dusty. But they do actually have these neat little gems and stuff on their shoulders. They have like little it's pretty cool. And we've got another. We've got a necklace in the center. Just little splashes of color we can break out the gunmetal gray palette of a lot of Philosopher units. Marksman of Reikion over here too, a very healthy unit up. What we got going on over here? Oh, yeah. This is where their two-handed spears are. That would be why they're otherwise occupied. This uphill fight. I see some units on the verge of routing? No, I didn't. Just some units. And over here, they've definitely stalled out. Argothron has at least, although they have managed to make a breakthrough in this area. So Revenant Corps Band holding the line. Uh-oh, cavalry in here. This is bad. That's a lot of cavalry. Woo! Woo! That's bad news bears right there. Do they have pikes still? Do they have their pikemen? No, but what they do have here are the Wardens of Nargothrond. Very heavily armored spearmen. They're also armor piercing. Ooh, that's a cool charge there. Look at that. They'll actually do really well against the Iron Raptors, especially since those units don't get their charge bonus. It's a big deal. Iron Ravagers here getting picked off. We got up here. Bulldogs. Revan needs to be careful with his bodyguard. Definitely needs to be watchful. And let these guys do what they need to do here. I won't send in my Udaloki and other stuff until it's just time. We may make a sally with him and try to attack the Sons of Feanor in the flank. Oh no, my halberds. Who told you to do this? I did. Oh no, our halberdiers are really struggling.
The enemy are badly bloodied. They have lost half their men.
Oh, whatever. Just fight. It's fine. It's fine. Just do your thing. I need to let these guys do their thing for a little bit. I want this to be a good close game. 55-55, and it is that so far. These guys are holding on. Look at that. They've just been grinding down the Feanor infantry. It's really surprising, but it really does come down to... It comes down to this. I mean, look. A lot of Feanor units are pretty weak to armor piercing. Actually, their general is there. I'm pretty sure it's Sons of Feanor general, so if we kill him, his army might dissipate. But yeah, because of how choky that is, especially with our mangonels in there, it is kind of playing to our advantage. We may not win. Uh-oh. See? And this is why reserves are awesome. You're gonna be too fast for me, I think. Potential issue. Oh, we were okay. No. Did we get saved by a crash? It's possible. I hope not. I would feel robbed if that was the case. Well, it's looking like maybe. I'll check the Discord very quick. Well, might be it. Well, I can't quit the game. I can't kick him either, or alt tab. That's a shame. That's a big old shame. This was a good fight. It's a good old scrap. But you know what? It's on stream. You guys got to kind of see the direction it was going in. It's not the end of the world. I think we would have won. That's what I'm gonna call that right now. Although maybe not over here. I could have started focusing down with my... Oh, no? Okay, so maybe we actually will get to see how this ends. Budokai is not them.
Only half our force
Budokai is not them. He is Nargothrond. That sucks. But Nargothrond is getting kind of surrounded here anyway, so I don't think they would have managed to get farther than they did. So it's not the end of the world. I think this could still be a replay that gets shown.
Only half the enemy force remains.
We'll see. We'll see if we manage to catch Finrod here. If we do, that's gonna suck for us again. They're gonna have to like move through us, and they're gonna take a lot of damage. So this might actually neutralize this threat outright, which would be cool. But yeah, this is okay. Nargothrond is surrounded. Ooh, that's a bit. They're still plucking away. But I think we will be able to beat Doriath here. But that does leave, I don't know, a lot of House of Feanor. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're not going to win. Maybe I'm a fool. And we didn't do as much damage to them as I kind of hoped that we would. Send these axemen down there. Go to my Urudoki. Send them over this way. I'll probably shoot my own Balrogs here. Get them out of the way. Break these spear hosts. Try and surround. I think that's a better play. And shoot my own damn Balrogs. These Ravagers. They're getting eager. Okay, so they're heading over that way. They don't need my axemen anymore. You guys are heading back this direction. You're not out of ammunition. Might as well just move that. Okay, so I'm happy that I'm not happy that Uruke dropped, obviously. However, his army was locked in everywhere that it was present. So it's not the end of the world. It's still a watchable replay. Is that a firing squad? Is that a... what? Where is that? Who did that? Who did this? Oh. Oh, that's an opportunity, isn't it? Broadside! Fly, you fools. Go faster. Just trying to figure out where the... is there a Lista in here somewhere that did that? Who on earth? Oh yeah, okay. There's a Lista. I'm not crazy. These mounted company should die. This is game over for Doriath. This is a tough fight. This is a real... no, honestly, they didn't get past the first choke points for the most part. But like, this isn't not an easy place to assault. This super favors the defenders in a huge way. So you know what? They did great, all things considered. Like, this ultimately was a game that was hugely in our favor. Maybe I should take these guys out this way. Let's take a look at chat. See how we're doing. JMonster, I'm taking notes since the build is cheesy. What build? My build? My build is reasonable. What are you talking about? Uh-oh. Swordhouse routing. Rangers of Hellborn. Oh, since Feanor coming over this direction. Oh, I see. I gotta move for some kind of last stand, I think. Oh, we have a Cursed of... oh my god, are those my Loki? No, they are not. Okay, that makes sense. Look at this. I feel like we need Benny Hill music or something like that. That's just... oh, it's amazing. It's like the Pied Piper. Except the Uruki are basically just bagpipes and Spitfire. So they're pipes leading these long columns of infantry. That's funny. Mangonel was real... I didn't mean to! I super did not mean to do that. I see what he's talking about. I did not mean for this to happen. I even tried to pull my Mangonel out of there, and I was like, I'll go back and I'll get it later. No, I did not mean for that to happen. I fully agree that if I did that like on purpose, that would certainly not be nice. But that's not what happened. My Bulldogs at. Have them run, and we'll come out here and we'll meet the Sons of Feanor, because why not? So why the heck not? I will happily go toe-to-toe with these forces here. A valid strategy, especially for Morgoth and Sauron. I did not mean for that to happen. I super did not. I thought we'd push them off that rampart eventually, and then I could get my Mangonel back. Crash into those Rangers there. Yeah, I would run there too, Finrod. We're gonna let them go, because I want this to have like a really cool start finish. What are we at here? 72 to 83. I guess the Axemen. Yeah, the Axemen are kind of blobbed up, so we'd probably win that fight. That makes sense, I guess. Rangers Rangers of the Girdle here, fighting with Uroloki. Yeah, this is looking like a... Oh man, they just got bogged down for so long here. This is a really good map for scenarios, but as you can see, it heavily favors the defenders. So not necessarily a competitive map, but it is still a really cool one. We got to have a nice battle today, so can't complain too much, I suppose. Sword host here, and we'll just make simultaneous pushes. We
the battle is very much in our favor. Victory will be ours.
Let's put some fire at the Rangers there. We'll take the Cursed of Aqualonde and such head on. That's fine. Attack everyone! Go, go, go! I didn't mean to. I don't think that was. I don't think that's the nail in the coffin. Though. I think that they basically lost at all the choke points because of how much this map favors the defenders. This was by far the least of their concerns. But I still feel quite bad about that. Ooh, nice! Oh, devastating! Real nice. Real nice. Defenders of Agalon to deal with. I don't think Balrog's can do. They definitely can't do that on their own. I don't think the troops I have here can do that on their own. Marauders might help out. We'll send the Magadel crew up here, I guess. Yeah, we'll suffer some minor defeats here, but I think it just makes for a cooler looking game that way. You know what I mean? Finishes outside the walls like this, and like some desperate kind of rearguard actions, and we're trying to mop up, and they're still managing to catch us out, and like have some minor victories. I think that's good. It's a good look for the defenders, indeed. Oh, they're gonna win that for sure. Those defenders, Agalon and the Cursed of Aqualonde, they're gonna mop us up. It's not even be fair. These troops are exhausted. Well, some of them. Balrogs are definitely tired. Spit a bit of fire here. Unshielded units like this might actually hurt them.
The battle is very much in our favor. Victory will be ours.
Oh. Well, you guys don't want to listen? Okay. That's fine. Let's go over here, please. Quithalim are very effective against battle. Yes, they are. They are very, very good. They're good hero hunting units. I really just want to go over this way. String them out of it. I actually want to have my dragons spit once. I didn't even need them, as it turned out. I didn't even have a chance to use them. There was no real option for it. Oh, my Balrogs are all dead. I think there's two left. Just run it. Guardians of the Earth. Cursed of Aqualonde will fight for Green River. The defenders, I think, are in there too. You guys can do it. Spit. Come on. Yeah, look at that. I'm thinking I might change the orange to a black, so it's like a black and green, or maybe I'll change the green to a black, so it's black and orange. I'm not sure. I'm still figuring that out. But these are the units that fire is good against. A lot of these units are very lightly armored and like, fairly lightly shielded, so they're gonna hate this. Probably get one. Look at that inferno. Beautiful. Light troops fear fire. That's consistent across all fire damaging units. Light troops.
If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
these guys went up here. Oof. That's where my team are in there too. I said a last stand over here. Loki trying to take down some of the last remaining riders of Fëanor. They've like fled through their camps, and they're now on the retreat. It's still a decent game though. Mid defeat there from Rex. 94 to 80%. Why do they sound like cannons? Because that's the default file for them. Because technically, in the files, they are an elephant unit with artillery attached. So, as far as the game is concerned, these guys right here are an elephant, and there is somebody on top of them with an artillery piece going pew 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 pew. You can change like where the fire comes out, like the angle, and like you can change the horizontal axis of where the fire ends up. But for all intents and purposes, they are an artillery piece. An artillery elephant. There we go. We've cleaned them up. That's game over. We're gonna spit fire. Angmarim. The Uroloki. I don't know why I thought Angmarim. I don't know why I'm thinking about Angmar. I guess they're kind of like Angband in a few different ways. Maybe that's where that comes from. Defenders of Aglon. I'm not even gonna spit fire at them. We're just gonna charge them there. Why not? The Defenders of Aglon. So another key difference between the Curse of Alcalande and the Defenders of Aglon. All two-handed units in Silmarillion Total War get a +2 versus elephants, i.e. against Uroloki. The Curse of Alcalande don't have that. That's another difference between the two units. They might flee. Oh, they're definitely going to flee. Wow. I was going to charge in there because I didn't want to. We're going to do it anyway. Get in there, boys. One final glorious charge. Batter around. See if they manage to actually kill him. Maybe really kill. Yeah, the Defenders of Aglon didn't like that very much. They're going to rout. Curse of Alcalande. Probably fairly sure. There he goes. One goes down. Another slain by a Balrog. He's gonna get picked off. Balrog, I think he's gonna get this guy as well. No, he's gonna start to flee. There we go. I think that should be GG. All told, a pretty fun siege to watch. I'm sure many people out there who are elf lovers are gonna be like, "This is ridiculous! How dare you allow the elves to lose?" I'm sorry. But you should read the Silmarillion. They lose all the time. It's what they do. That's basically what the elves do. Their entire history, they refer to it as the long defeat. These guys? Oh, there's a little pocket here left of these nobles of Baelar. And they've just like been fighting here in this choke point for 1.5 million years. It's a real ugly mess right there. Yeah, very bloody for everybody involved. My forces are down to maybe 400 if I'm lucky. Probably just a little bit over 500. Yeah, it would have been closer if Rurouni didn't crash. But to be fair, I don't mind showing the game because he was just so heavily surrounded anyway. And he was surrounded like pretty well from the get-go. As soon as the replay was back on, I went over here to check on his army, and he was heavily surrounded. So it might have been a little bit closer, but I don't think it would have been that much different. Yeah, see, Revan has a point there. I took a look, and he was definitely surrounded. And he was losing over here. Still, lots of punch-ups here. Angband does not fall easily, as we can see. Let's get back over here. We'll wait. Allow this fight here to continue. Oh, Angband units closing in from behind. They've already managed to get here. Now these Baelar nobles, it's kind of their last gasp. It really is, and you know what? the point isn't that the elves always win. The point is, I think a big part of what you should take away from the Silmarillion is the nobility of struggling against insurmountable odds. And even if you know you can't win, or you're very, very sure that you can't win, the fact that the elves still consistently throughout the ages were willing to stand up against one Dark Lord or another, I think is a really, really powerful statement about perseverance and the willingness to do what you feel is necessary in the face of insurmountable odds. So yes, what was that, a 3v4? It was a 3v4. I will take a look at my team here. We're only going to get the Angband players, so we won't be able to take a look at the Easterlings, unfortunately. That's just how Medieval 2 is. This is Revenant Korriban's army. Bulldogs did alright. Valaraukar, okay. Actually, that's really good for Valaraukar. There's only 12 of them in the unit, so they like kill 10 times their number. Udaloki, very, very nice. Guardians of the Iron Crown did well, as you'd expect. Like I said, there's something in the Angband roster that can be used to devastating effect against basically all the factions that we are facing today, so I would expect the Angband to do very well, especially on their home turf like this. Ravagers did well. Some nice... Look at that, my Guardians of the Iron Crown getting 246. They all got nearly 150. I'm happy with that. 300 on a unit of Halberdiers. Look at that. It's beautiful. Udaloki didn't do nearly as well. Or they didn't do quite as well as the other guys. But Valaraukar got a lot of kills. Mangonel got 12 kills, but they were painful for other reasons. I really didn't mean to have that happen. Ironshot Arbalists. How did my other Arbalists do? I'm curious. Really well. Yeah, that's kind of what I needed, and that's why I took so many skirmish units. And I didn't have a ton of infantry. I had Wretches, I had Guardians and Halberds, and then some Axemen. Most of that's mid-tier stuff and loses to Elven infantry in like straight fights unless I get really good engagements against certain units and certain factions. But what really killed it there, I think, was A, my polearms, because they had to fight in choke points, and B, my Arbalists. There's a lot of kills in the Arbalists there. And then my Udaloki ended up with a lot of kills, but that comes in near the end. Valaraukar, stuff like that. My Ravagers did alright as well, but they were held in reserve for a while. So yeah, it's a good game. Fun, fun, fun. We'll take a look at the Mangonel was the MVP. I feel bad about that. I've said it a million times. You know I didn't intend for it to happen. I'm not going to explain myself anymore. But yeah, no, I didn't mean for that to go down the way it did. Let's take a look at chat here. See if I missed anything. No, I think I kept up with it pretty well. Yeah, that was a good one. And that was just about 80 minutes of one game. So, a fun stream. I may cast it, although I think Windy is still out there. If Windy wants a replay, I will send it to him, or I may send it on to Scouts. I don't know. Depends. Personally, I find Sieges to be a little bit exhausting to cast, just because they're very static, and it's a lot of sitting there waiting for things to happen. And that's definitely... That Siege was not the exception to that. There's a lot of fighting and choke points. I personally don't... I don't enjoy doing it as much. I don't think there's as much going on, but it will get posted at some point. You haven't played so far? Well, lucky for you. It's actually a public build. So what you saw on the screen was actually publicly available to you. It is getting there. We have currently 8 out of our 11 planned factions. Number 9 will be coming in the next few weeks. I've been working on other projects in the meantime, but now we're going to get back to Silmarillion development. And it'll be the House of Fingolfin. And they're going to come in with another legendary company as well. So they will have... Yeah. They will have I think like 10 or 11 units plus a legendary company. And then there's artillery and other like trimmings and trappings too. So there's a lot yet to come. We'll be doing scenarios for the Nirnaeth Arnothiad properly. The big battle between the elves and the forces of Morgoth that basically sealed the fate of the elves, the houses of the Noldor and so forth in Middle-earth until the Valar intervened. So I will be doing a little bit of like a documentary for that. You're a campaign fan. That makes sense. So we are working on campaign. I know that Secretariat has been working alongside another fellow on the team named Commander Soul, and they're working to get the like region map finalized. I think we currently have 150 separate regions, so it's a sizable campaign. Campaign. Does anyone here like not know too much about campaign? I'm very happy to talk about campaign and what's going to be coming down the line because there's a lot of really cool stuff. And while I'm not as heavily into it, I do still have like a say, and I can obviously make content for it. And people are like really open. It's a good team. Like we all kind of collaborate, so it's not like it's not like we have to push things in just because we want them in. But yeah, so if you guys want to know things about campaign, I can tell you a couple things right off the bat. And you can ask me any questions that you may have. We have very small rosters in Silmarillion Total War for multiplayer. You probably have noticed this if you've played it or if you've seen me play it or anybody else. That is not going to be the case in campaign. Campaign is going to have a ton of mercenaries and thematic units from the story. It's going to have legendary companies that are specific to campaign. So the Doriath elves will definitely have a mounted 2 HP bodyguard, for example, for King Thingol, and that will be mounted on a ram mount, and that'll be the only ram mount in the game. So that's going to be kind of cool. So for campaign, you can't have jets at A10 Warthog, but you can have things like the Gaurwaith, the Wolf Folk, which is like Barons, not tribe, but group of outlaws. Or is it Baron or Turin? I think it's Turin, one of those two. But it's like their group of outlaws that they like cause a lot of problems for Morgoth and like guerrilla warfare and stuff like that. There are some other units that will be coming down the pipe. I know for sure, I haven't decided if this will be added to multiplayer, but the Nargothrond faction will also get Prince Gwyndor's company. And if you're familiar with the story, Prince Gwyndor was basically tricked into kicking off the Nirnaeth Arnothiad early by having his brother mutilated and decapitated in front of him. So he was first into the fray, big charged all the way to the gates of Angband. Like, it's just a furious onslaught. And so that they were ultimately captured and slain, except for the Prince Gwyndor. He would escape later. But that unit will appear in game and will have a really high charge bonus. So a little bit of cool stuff there. Will Vision be helping with the campaign since his PC is working? Yes. Vision joined onto the team with the expectation of us having to wait a little bit till he got a computer that was working, and now he's got one, so he's back in the game. Are there any custom settlements planned? Not currently. It's possible that we'll reuse some of the ones that exist for 30's Reforged that are thematically appropriate, like the Grey Havens, for example. I can see that being used as an elven city. I've been talking to WK a little bit about trying to get a Gondolin map to work. He has done a Gondolin already, but there's just so much on it that it's actually really unstable. So it's very possible that you will see custom maps, like custom siege settlements. We have a lot of maps that have been made by myself, made by the community, made by other developers that are available currently and only available on Silmarillion Total War. But for custom siege settlements, it's something we want to do, and that we hopefully will have the opportunity to implement, but we do need to have somebody to make them for us, and WK is probably the person to go to, but he of course has school and real life and responsibilities. He also works on the Reforged team, so we'll see, but it's definitely something that we want. Other cool stuff for campaign, you'll see giant spiders on campaign for sure. I don't know if you'll see Ungoliant, but you will see like single entity giant spiders, because I know that that's possible, and we have the models for them from Botet. Glaurung is a single entity giant dragon with a stun ability. It's possible. But to do that, we need someone to make animations. We need someone to make the model for us. And people who could do animations are really hard to come by in the Medieval 2 modding community. So if there's Glaurung, it might be kind of jerry-rigged, or it might be like ported wholesale, kind of like the Urloki are. So maybe. Or we just reuse the Urloki and scale it up so that it's a single entity unit. And the AoE stun, we can do that with a special projectile that does no damage, but it will like hit things in a large radius, so it will like stagger everyone, so it's kind of like a stun. Other things like that, yeah. Let's see, what other planned stuff do we have for campaign? I think that's kind of it that I can think of off the top of my head. If you guys have any specific questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'll probably, sign off for the day. It's like 3:34. I want to do other things with my time besides stream. So, but yeah, so campaign will be coming down the line. It will feature a lot of expansions to rosters. There's going to be some scripted events, not so many that turn times get ridiculous, because it's something that we obviously want to avoid. I thought there's a hard-coded limit. There, you can do single entity units, but you have to do a little bit of trickery with them. So basically, when you see a single entity unit, you notice how, like, when you look at the card, in the top left where like the numbers in the unit are, it's like 9 or something, right? And there's only one unit that you see. Well, the reason for that is that there are invisible units essentially, and they don't do damage, they don't do anything, but they're there, and they may not even be able to interact with you. But the fact that there are those invisible units is what kind of helps people get around the fact that there is a hard-coded limit on certain elephant units. And I think you can have single entity elephants as well. So if a unit is an elephant, that's no problem. But you can also do some trickery like that by using invisible meshes and then having one unit appear when there's actually more than one. So it's kind of weird. I'm not super familiar with it because I haven't had to experiment with that too much. Like the Udaloki, I could drop the Udaloki down to 3 if I wanted to. I could maybe even drop them down to 1 if I wanted to play with it. That being said, there are some other possibilities too. A lot of people have been working on like EXE modifications, and I'm hesitant to embrace them because it does technically break the end user license agreement. But it's possible, and it's also not compatible with Steam. So how that will end up looking, I don't know. It is possible that you can like play games through Hamachi or something, and you can use the EXE edits, and you can do anything that you want, and it's crazy. But I don't think that has mass appeal, and I want Silmarillion to have mass appeal. So I don't think you'll see that as on a public build, and it also does technically break the EULA, so I don't want to get the mod deleted and get sued or something. But yeah, so that's gonna do for today. That's like 90 minutes. I did a podcast earlier today. Normally I would go a little bit longer, but I just don't got it in me. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this so far. I hope you're excited for Silmarillion. If you guys are interested in joining the community and joining the mod, check the description of this video. You're going to find our Discord, you're going to find our Twitter account, our Instagram account, and our ModDB is there too. If you guys need to, if for whatever reason the ModDB link doesn't work, just look for Silmarillion Total War ModDB in your search browser and it'll bring you right there. Yes, Jervis, what can I do for you? I will give you a few more minutes there, and then I gotta go because I gotta get out of my chair. My back's starting to hurt. I'm old. What should I do to make the job of the attacker a little bit more easier? I would even out there's very, very small narrow choke points that are easy to defend. I would maybe widen those a little bit, and you can even try and smooth out the hills so that they're not so dramatic, because units when they're fighting uphill do take penalties. So those are the two things that I would do, is widen some of the choke points on the wings, just a little bit. You don't want them to be so big that you can't defend them, because like this is still going to be a map that you're going to want to have your defenders be outnumbered in. I would widen them a little bit just to give the defenders a little bit more room. Or open up an extra choke point. But if you open that up, it might spread defenders too thin. I think you have a good amount of entrances in right now. I think there's like 3 on each side, and then there's 1 big central entrance. I personally think that that's perfect. I would just widen some of the very narrow choke points so they're not so easy, because I was able to use my army really, really efficiently, and that's what kept me holding on, right? I could like make them walk through waves and waves of wretches, and then there wasn't really anything else they could do about it. By the time they managed to get through, they're just tired, and then I just keep my good troops back, and I shuffle them forward when it's time, and it just ends up being a really grindy, endless stalemate, which works out really nicely for the defenders. So yeah, there's 7 in total. I think there's like 3 on each side, and then there's the 1 central one, so there's 7. That's what I would do. But if we have any other questions, unless we have any other questions, rather, I'm going to take off for the day. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope you check out Silmarillion Total War in the future, and I hope you check out some of my other content as well. I did a really good podcast today, which will be up later, probably this evening or tomorrow at the latest. And I will have more like matches, content, things like that coming down the pipe in the future. Lots of live streaming on the way. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it so far. Take care.